Neha, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So I want now uh, that some questions I will be putting up, and the chapters which we have done already, you keep answering, and that is a, you can take it as a short test. So the last chapter which you have read, tell me some discussion will be needed, or you will be able to prepare it only by asking the questions. Environmental issues everyone has read, yes or no?
No,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
No. Okay, so which one you'll have read? किसका बच गया, रुमीशा का रह गया?
Yes, ma'am. Only I have done human health and diseases.
अच्छा, only human health and diseases. Okay, okay. So human health and diseases drugs part we couldn't complete ना.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ, तो फिर ड्रग्स वाला पार्ट तो हम कल वीडियो से ही साथ में निकाल दिखा देंगे. Now what you do before that, because the last unit we will be taking up one by one these chapters. So I'm taking up the environmental issues. What you all do, open your notebook, write down the name of the chapter, environmental issues. Okay, so just in 2 periods we will be able to finish up the environmental issues. Write down chapter 16, environmental issues. So only Rumisha has not read, rest other students have read it.
Ma'am, I have also not read it.
Okay, Devanshu also. Okay, so no problem. So you keep writing the questions which I am saying, children, and keep understanding also. Okay, so now first question will be that what is pollution? So I want answers from your side, and whatever you have any doubt, so I will be adding up to it. So Rumisha, can you tell me what is pollution? Rumisha, what is pollution? How can you define pollution? Do you all have that textbook in front of you, everyone? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So only Neha has. The others are not having the textbook in front. This
Yes,
chapter,
ma'am.
children, you have
Um,
to keep the textbook in front of you, and whatever I say, you mark it, and the rest try to read it later. Is it clear? So you can note down quickly. Pollution, it is undesirable change. It is any undesirable change in the physical, chemical, and biological characteristics of air, water, land, or you can call it as soil. Rumisha, read it now. What is pollution?
Pollution is any undesirable change in physical, chemical, or biological characteristic of air, land, water, or soil.
Very good. Okay. Now remember that our government has passed the Environment Act 1986. So remember, sometimes it can be asked that when was the Environment Act passed? So the Environment Act was passed, that is the Environment Protection Act 1986. And what was the aim of this Environment Protection Act? What will be the aim, because we are passing it for the conservation and the protection of our environment, so to protect and improve the quality of our environment. So when we say environment, it will include all the three things, that is your air, water, and soil. Okay, now the next you write down, how can we control air pollution? How can we control air pollution? So to control the air pollution, children, you can write down some points that you will have to look upon. You'll have to control the concentration of the pollutants. You'll have to monitor the concentration of the pollutants. You have to see the duration of the exposure to those pollutants. You have to see the duration of the exposure to those pollutants. You have to see the duration of the exposure to those pollutants. You have to see the duration of the exposure to those pollutants. You have to see the duration of the exposure to those pollutants. You have to see the duration of the exposure to those pollutants. You have to see the duration of the exposure to those pollutants. You have to see the duration of the exposure to those pollutants. You have to see the duration of the exposure to those pollutants. You have to see the duration of the exposure to those pollutants. You have to see the duration of the exposure to those pollutants. You have to see the duration of the exposure to those pollutants. You have to see the duration of the exposure to those pollutants. You have to see the duration of the exposure to those pollutants. You have to see the duration of the exposure to those pollutants. You have to see the duration of the exposure to those pollutants. You have to see the duration of the exposure to those pollutants. You have to see the duration of the exposure to those pollutants. You have to see the duration of the exposure to those pollutants. You have to see the duration of the exposure to those pollutants Noted everyone?
Ma'am, please repeat the second statement.
Huh. The how can we control the air pollution? So in order to control the air pollution, you will have to look for few things. One is your concentration of the pollutants, duration of the exposure, and third you write down effect on the living organisms. Effect on living organisms. Done? Okay, now
Yes,
next,
ma'am.
what are the common pollutants? What are the common pollutants? So you find that the pollutants, when we classify or when we discuss, you should know that the air pollutants will be different, the water pollutants will be different, and the soil pollutants will be different. Now I want you all to tell me quickly what will be the air pollutants. What will be the air pollutants? Shravani, can you name some?
Ma'am, dust particles
Okay,
and
dust particles will be there.
different gases.
Okay, harmful gases will be there, right? What may be these gases?
Ma'am, carbon monoxide,
Ha, correct.
then sulfur
Ha,
and nitrogen.
nitrogen. Right, right. So these will be harming the environment, that is, the atmosphere will get affected. Okay, apart from that, what else may be causing the harm? The air pollutant. Neha, can you add up something to it?
Smoke.
Smoke, okay. Then
CFC.
CFCs, right? Okay. What else?
Various pollutants from the industries and factories.
Right, the carbon particles and all coming from the industries, they will also be added up to the air and they will cause the air pollution. Okay, now next we'll take up the water pollutants. So, what will be the water pollutants? Now, I want everyone to note down first air pollutants. So, whatever we have discussed, you write it and later you read it further and add up to it. Then the water pollutants. So, water pollutants will be what?
Sewage.
Sewage, very good. Okay, the sewage water added up to the different water bodies, they will be causing the water pollution. What else? What else can you say?
Ma'am, fertilizers released in water.
Right, fertilizers. You know that the excessive use of fertilizers which we are doing nowadays, that is also causing the water pollution. Very good. Okay, और क्या है जल्दी बताइए. वाटर में और क्या क्या अनवांटेड हम लोग ऐड अप कर रहे हैं. That all will come under the water pollutants, children, isn't
Ma'am,
it?
industrial effluent.
Yeah, industrial effluents, right? Okay, you know that all the industries are passing, they are just the water and all, everything goes in the water bodies only. And then domestic waste is going dumping in they are dumping in the water bodies. Then the dead bodies, then the ashes and all, it is all disposed of in the water body. So that is only causing the water pollution. Okay, and the biggest component in that is your plastic. So plastic is causing harm in the water bodies also, and that is causing harm to the soil also. Okay, so soil pollution. Then what else for the soil pollutants? What will be the particular soil pollutant? Again, same Rumisha. Which one?
Ma'am, plastic. Fertilizer.
Ah, fertilizers, right. Fertilizers will be polluting the soil also, and then the plastics. Okay, so they are harming the friendly, the fauna also. Okay, the microbes which are present, the friendly microbes which are present, and they regenerate the nutrient content in the soil, that gets affected. Okay, so that is all. Now we come to the, what do you mean by electrostatic precipitator? Write it quickly. What do you mean by electrostatic precipitator? So remember children, it is a device which is used for removing the particulate matter from the air. The electrostatic precipitators are used to remove the particulate matter from the air. So you know that from the different industries, the smoke and all, when it is discharged out in the air, it is treated. So before removing or before leaving it into the air, discharging into the air, it has to be treated. So the most common device which is used for removing that particulate matter, that is electrostatic precipitator, and that removes the 99% of the particulate matter which is present in the exhaust. So in all the thermal power plants this is used. Now what is the working of this electrostatic precipitator? My next question, explain the working of electrostatic precipitator. Noted everyone? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Electrostatic precipitator, I want everyone to draw the diagram, the figure number 16.1, which is given in your textbook, children. It's very important. Okay, so two figures are given there. One is the scrubber, another one the electrostatic precipitator. So this electrostatic precipitator, you find it is having the electrode wires, and they are maintained at several thousand volts. So it produces a corona, and that will release the electrons. So electrons, what they will do? They will attach to the dust particles, and these dust particles will become then negatively charged, and they will get collected on the plate which is grounded, and means the dust particles will get attracted to this grounded plate. So the air, the exhaust from the industries, the thermal power plants will be passed through this precipitator, and all the dust particles will be settling down. And when it will get heavy, it will become heavy, so you will find that the dust particles will fall down and they will be separated, and the free air, that is the particulate matter free air, will be released out of the chimneys. So this is the work of the electrostatic precipitator. The figure is showing children the discharge corona, they are showing the dust particles, so negatively charged are there, then the clean air will be going out, and all the dust particles will be settling on the plate. The second one is the scrubber. So what is the use of the scrubber? Write down which is the second device used for controlling the air pollution. So it is scrubber. So scrubber can remove the gases like sulfur dioxide. Now how does the scrubber work? My question next. Write down. How does the scrubber work? So in the scrubber, remember children, the dirty air is passed through one inlet, and there you find inside it there is a spray of water, or the lime is there. So when this dust particles will be sprayed with water, to what will happen? What will happen when the water will be sprayed to the dirty air, children? Can you think? रोमिशा क्या होगा अगर डर्टी एयर में वाटर स्प्रे कर रहे हैं तो? राज, can you tell? Rumisha, the same thing will happen, children, what you find here in the previous one, the electrostatic precipitator. What was
Ma'am, the
happening?
dust particle will become heavy and will fall down.
Right, the same thing will happen. Correct. Okay, the dust particles will become heavy, so they will get separated. So, and they will settle down. So, this way you find the clean air will be moving up and it will be released into the atmosphere. Okay, now next question, write down. Ready to write, everyone? Write down. How was the vehicular air pollution controlled in Delhi? Vehicular air pollution controlled in Delhi. You all know, children, in 1990 there is one case study given in your textbook about the vehicular air pollution in Delhi. And still you find that today also we consider Delhi very much polluted. But previously it is said that it was more polluted, but now you find that the number of vehicles are increasing, the condition is same. And every time you keep listening in the news, when the time comes that they say that close the windows, and then odd number, even number measures they keep taking. So the condition is critical in Delhi. The people are not able to breathe properly. They have to keep the windows closed. You all know it or not? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me what they do then? ये ऐसा क्यों करना पड़ता है इन लोगों को? What is the main cause of this air pollution? Can you tell in Delhi?
And the smoke coming from the vehicles.
Smoke coming from the vehicle. That is the main cause. That is why you know that they have to do all this, and then the people are also not taking part properly, and still the condition is there. Okay, but then, according to the case study, when they saw, so what steps they have taken, you all have to remember. Many steps Delhi has taken. Number one is that the buses, all the public transport, the buses and all, they change their diesel engines to the compressed natural gas. Okay, the fuel, the buses were using the fuel diesel before. Okay, but then they all changed it to the which
CNG.
bus? You find that there are all CNG buses. So this is your first step. Then the question is that why did they change the this fuel, why they started using CNG in all their public transport? So what is the advantage of the CNG? Can anyone tell? So note it in points quickly, children. CNG burns more efficiently, that is most efficiently. When we say it burns most efficiently, means what, Raj? राज, burns most efficiently तो क्या फायदा होगा राज?
Less pollution.
How? Shravani, can you say? Rumisha, can you say? Neha,
Means it does not give that much smoke. Means while it burns completely without giving any residue.
right. It will be, there is complete combustion will be there. So the residue left will not be there. So that way it will save the environment. No pollution, no harmful gases will be released. Okay. So first reason you write down that CNG burns most efficiently. Second you write down it cannot be siphoned off by thieves. It cannot be stolen. That means. Then third reason why they started using CNG, or what is the advantage of the CNG? It cannot be adulterated like the petrol or diesel. Cannot be adulterated like petrol or diesel. So why they switched over to CNG? What is the reason? Raj will sum up. Raj, can you sum up what I said? Number one, I am repeating. Number one, it burns most efficiently. Number two, nothing, that is very little is left unburnt. Number three, it cannot be stolen, it cannot be siphoned off by the thieves. Next one, it cannot be adulterated like petrol or diesel. Done, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, first step what Delhi took was what? Switching over to CNG in all their public transport. Done? Second one, write down the phasing out of old vehicles. Phasing out of old vehicles. So the vehicles which get old, they start, the engine becomes old, so then the proper combustion is not there and more unburned particles are released, more harmful gases are released. So that is the reason why they phased out all old vehicles. The next step they took, that is use of unleaded petrol. Unleaded petrol. Then another one, use of low sulfur petrol and diesel. Low sulfur petrol and diesel. Then in all the vehicles, they started using the catalytic converters. The use of catalytic converters in vehicles. Then after that, what else they did? That was the application of stringent pollution level norms for vehicles. Application of stringent pollution level norms for vehicles. So when you say, so these norms will do what? That these were aiming at reducing the sulfur and the aromatic contents in the petrol and the diesel fuels, children. The norms were made which will reduce the sulfur and the aromatic content in petrol and diesel fuels. So you must be seeing in the vehicles now it's written Bharat 2. Okay, Euro 3. So these are only the norms which are given to the vehicles. The level norms, the pollution level norms. Okay, so these are the certificates given to the vehicles, children. And after that only they will be coming into the market, which will be assuring that they have been well tested and they will not be emitting the sulfur and the aromatic content. Means the proper combustion of the fuel will be there and the unburned particles left one will be less. So these are the steps which are taken by Delhi government. Now I want Shravani to sum up what steps were taken by Delhi to control the vehicular air pollution. Yes, Shravani.
Ma'am, first of all, they started the use of CNG because
Yes,
CNG burns more efficiently, and it uh, left with a very little of its burnout. Then
okay,
it cannot be siphoned off by thieves, and it cannot be adulterated by like petrol or diesel. So they
yeah,
started using CNG. Then
right,
they started phasing out of old vehicles which were like 15 years old, so the
right,
vehicles cannot be used.
uh,
Then they started off using unleaded petrol,
yes,
use of low sulfur petrol and diesel,
huh.
use of catalytic converters in vehicles, and application of stringent pollution level norms of vehicles.
For the vehicle. So the vehicle can come into the market only when they have been provided with this certificate. So these they have to follow these norms strictly. They have to follow, and what it will aim at reducing the sulfur and the aromatic content in the petrol and diesel. So this way many norms were made. Okay, and unburnt will not be there. Okay, now next write down the question. When did Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act came into force in India? Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act. So remember children, it came into force in 1981, and later is what it was amended in 1987. So this is Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act. So previously they were not adding in that about the sound or the noise pollution, but in 1987 they included the noise also as the air pollutant. Now next question, what is noise? How does it affect human beings?
Ma'am, can you repeat once?
Yeah, what is noise? How does it affect the human beings or human health? How does it affect the human health? So remember children, noise though we take it as a pleasure only whenever any functions are there. So always the loudspeakers are used, and then uh, the sound which we are getting, that is the level of the sound which we hear, it's very much. Okay, so it causes lots of problems in the human beings. It affects the health a lot, which we generally ignore children. Okay, and that is it may damage the eardrums, children. Okay, and this unpleasant sound only we call it as a noise, and that noise which you call it, that causes sleeplessness. So if you are involved in that function, तो then you may ignore it, but you must have observed children that अगर वो किसी और के यहाँ हो रहा होता and then you are away from that function, तो you get disturbed a lot. Okay, sleeplessness will be there, and this noise level, if it is high, it increases the heartbeat. Okay, and the continuous noise pollution may alter the breathing pattern, and human beings get stressed. So these are the effects on the human health. Can damage the eardrums, causes sleeplessness, increased heartbeat, altered breathing patterns may be observed, and stress. So you know that during the examination, The government only make some laws that इतने बजे तक आप ये लाउड स्पीकर्स बजा सकते हैं, उसके बाद आप लाउड स्पीकर नहीं बजा सकते. So you all must be knowing these all rules, and then near the schools you must have seen that horns, that symbol is there. Okay, that you cannot use the horns. So that's a very important thing. And to check the noise pollution only, both sides of the road the avenue trees are planted, children. So these are the steps taken to check the noise pollution. That is, plantation is done to check the noise pollution also. Okay, so the steps taken. Question, my question you write down. What steps are taken to check noise pollution? Now next question. How can we control water pollution? How can we control water pollution? Mention the steps taken by Government of India. Mention the steps taken by Government of India. Now I want children, everyone to make from the textbook 16.3 figure. You will be making the figure 16.3. Noted, everyone? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so next period I would like to see in everyone's notebook the figure number 16.3, which is very, very important, and I'll discuss this figure then next period. Okay, remember children, the very important factor which gets affected, very important property, the feature which gets affected when the water gets pollution, that is the oxygen dissolved in it. If the amount of the oxygen dissolved in the water gets affected, then how it will affect the life? Can anyone tell? How it will be harmful if the oxygen dissolved gets reduced in water? Anyone can say. I don't have to call out
The
anyone's.
aquatic life will get disturbed.
Again, Barbie, yes.
Then the aquatic life will get disturbed.
Aquatic life will get disturbed. Everyone knows, children, that the aquatic organisms are using the oxygen which is dissolved in the water. And if it gets reduced, so then you can understand that it will be causing problem to all the plants as well as the animals living in that water. Okay, what is that process called? We did it in 10th. Anyone remembering? Anyone remembering? What is that process when there is a reduction in the oxygen content and then no one? So those who read the textbook this chapter, they are also not answering, children. What happened? If you have read this chapter, so then you will get it. It was the eutrophication. Two terms we did it in 10th also, children. One was bioconcentration and then another one eutrophication. Eutrophication I think we never discussed, but bioconcentration, biological magnification we have done. Okay, so both are very important. So we'll end up the class, children, and tomorrow we'll be discussing further and we'll try to end up. Now today I give you the work that read this whole chapter. It's a very small chapter and you have to read it, and tomorrow I'll try to finish up this chapter. Yes or no? Listening?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah, so very easy topics are there, and they are just general sort of. I want the answer from your side, children. I'll just put up the question and you have to tell me. It's like a story only. Okay, and then keep noting the questions. And Monday, then you will write down the test on this chapter, the Google form. Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So be ready for the test on this chapter. That the date will be Monday. Okay, so don't take it lightly. Tomorrow will be Friday, isn't it? So 2 days we have. So you have to prepare it. This chapter. Tomorrow I'll give you further the questions. Okay, so now Barbie and Shravani ready for Shanti part. Unmute your mic and we'll do Shanti part.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Sai Ram children. So today all are present, na? Neha, everyone present today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you can switch off that recording, okay?